Realtors, stop running Facebook ads if you want new construction buyers. Do this instead.
Right, we are rocking and rolling, so let's get going. Nate's going to be a little late, but it's all good because we're going to get started. I am coming to you live from a new townhome community in Metro Atlanta. You see the beautiful background here. We'll actually be doing a lunch and learn at this location very shortly. For y'all in Atlanta that have been asking when we're going to do something. And now we're going to rock and roll. Build your dream today. We show you the way. Luxury leads come to play. New homes here to stay. Marketing's our game. Elevate your name. Reach for the fame. Never just the same. We're the iconic agent. New construction's our lane. Teaching you the secrets to luxury gains. Digital wave we ride. Strategies we provide. No need to hide. Success is on your side. Close deals like a pro. Watch your profits grow. High standards we show. Feel that golden glow. We're the iconic agent. New construction's our lane. Teaching you the secrets for luxury gains. Digital wave we ride. Strategies we provide. No need to hide. Success is on your side. Close deals like a pro. Watch your profits grow. High standards we show. Feel that golden glow. We're the iconic agent. New construction's our lane. Teaching you the secrets for luxury gains. First midweek tune-up of the year, your quick midweek calibration for new construction real estate mindset and marketing momentum. Nate was going to be popping on momentarily. Let me make sure we got all our stuff together here. Okay. All right. So archives and resources. If this is your first time here, we do these on a weekly basis every Wednesday. We have some really awesome topics. This is part of a series of topics that we started with, which is how to find and attract new construction buyers and how to sell more new construction. I'm actually sitting here. We don't just preach this stuff, we practice it. I'm sitting in a sales center in Metro Atlanta. We'll be doing a lunch and learn at this specific community, wide open. They haven't had a lot of sales. It's kind of in the cut. And one of our clients actually is the on site here. And the reason they were able to get on site here is because of the results they have with the information that we're sharing with you guys. So that just gives you a little something to aspire to. They have their own community and they're independent agents. This is a small builder they're working for. So there's a lot of opportunity. When you sell a bunch of units, a lot of opportunity opens up. And this is a prime example. So I'm here to get some content from them, record some information, sell a couple units here. They started about 450 to 500,000, 2,800, 26 to 2,700 square feet. Great project, but if you're in the Atlanta area, we will be doing some lunch and learns here. So I'll introduce you to them. You can bring in some clients, bring them investors, and go make some money. Nate's favorite thing to do. In the meantime, Mr. Crawford, hello there, sir. In the meantime, listen to the New Construction Marketing archives and download infographics and resources at theiconicagent.com/tune-up. That is where you can get this replay as well as the past replays we've done and resources. These are free resources that are actionable. You should be able to take this information. Don't just sit here and mentally masturbate with it and be like, oh, I learned something. No, take it and go do something with it. That's why we're sharing this, because we want to see y'all win. You got questions? Next week, January 20th, we have a free live only, meaning you have to show up live in order to participate, Ask Me Anything coaching session. That's going to be at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. If you go to the iconicagent.com/tune-up, you can get your information there as well. We will notify you. And last piece of information about the Iconic Agent before we get into the continuation of the series on how do we sell new construction. We do have a 6-week new construction buyer attraction accelerator coming up in the second week of February. Right now, we're building a waiting list. This is by application only. Applications open in a few weeks. But in the meantime, you're not just waiting around. The waiting list receives 5 weeks of free new construction training. So take what we'll give you here in about 30 minutes, and we go deeper. We give you more resources. We show you the how-to. We tell you what to do. So it's 2 emails, 2 lesson emails weekly, one on Wednesday, today, and Friday. Then we give you a recap on Sunday. If you missed anything, we're in week 2 right now. Don't worry about it. We got you. Week 2 is relationships, building relationships with on-site sales staff. That's where we are now. If you missed week 1, once you register, you're going to get week 1 on Sunday. So don't worry about signing up now and missing something. You'll get it. But we'll walk through how new construction actually works in today's market, how you're missing out on sales if you're not looking at new construction and you're only focusing on listings and resales, how to find inventory that never shows up in MLS, because about 50% of new construction and pre-construction does not show up in the MLS. That's where agents are trained to look. We show you how not to be able to unsee new construction. How builder incentives impact total savings and monthly payments. We'll walk through that. And how to identify which communities have a real buyer demand. So you don't want to waste time with a community that's not selling if you can find out what's in demand, and then you work on marketing that and selling that to your clients. And if you happen to sell them something else, so be it. And then how to prioritize all of the new construction if you're in major areas like in the Atlanta metro, Tampa Bay, Florida in general, Texas in general, DMV area in general. How do you know which one to pick? Well, we have a whole process for that. We'll walk through that with you too. Go to the iconicagent.com/waiting list. There's only 25 people that will be accepted into the accelerator. We already have several dozen that are on the waiting list. So again, it's application only, but for now, whether you get in or not, whether you're accepted or not, you at least are going to get some really valuable information you could take away with you. 2 to 3 times more valuable than the information we're giving you on these tune-ups. So go ahead and jump on that. So while you guys are here, today's topic, we're going to recap last week if you missed it. Real quick recap, picking the most profitable projects as well as building relationships. And today we are going to walk through and dive into buyer attraction strategies. Sitting in this model home right here, looking around, it's like, man, this is beautiful. It sells itself. If I bring a client here, they're going to love it. Great. Second question we get is, and this is something that I know Nate gets a lot when he's sitting in a $2 million, $3 million sales center, and he's doing one of his Black Luxury Collective events, and people come in, they're like, the agents come in, they're like, oh, this is great. This is cool. But the question that you usually get asked, Nate, is what after they see how beautiful it is? What's the next question you typically get?
Yeah, they are all, especially the experienced ones. How are you finding your buyers? This is great, but this doesn't mean anything if I don't have buyers for it.
Exactly. How do we find buyers? So this is what we're going to talk about today. So recapping, and you can get this infographic if you go to the iconicagent.com/tune-up. This was last week's. This was December 31st. We gave this infographic away, but really quick, there's the do's of building rapport and don'ts. So some quick do's: start with honesty. Don't lie and say you have a client if you don't. Be genuinely curious and ask strategic questions. What you don't want to do is walk in and be like, how much commission y'all paying? Not a good idea. Do not act like a know-it-all. You are not the subject matter expert. You are the area expert or the client. You're working with your client. The on-site agent, let them do their job. They're the ones that know the product better than you. So don't try to be a know-it-all. And don't go asking for favors until you build those relationships. And then, with new construction, it's the same. I mean, with luxury new construction, similar process. There's a few small core differences, but you guys can go back to last week's in the archive and go through that and consume that information, as well as get this infographic and some more. So now we're just going to dive straight into how to find buyers. Let me make sure I have this. Let me see here. Make sure I got this set up. Yeah. All right, cool. So looking good. All right, so first thing, looking for buyers. So when you've gone out, you found 5 new construction communities. You love them. They're great. You're like, oh, which one do I start with? First, you want to focus. We want to pick one. We're going to start with one. It seems counterintuitive, but it's not. We have over $500 million in sales behind these processes from helping agents like you trust the process. You're going to pick one community to start with. We don't have time to dive into how that turns into other things, but for now, one. So focus. Remember that word, focus. Next, we're going to create ads. Makes sense. So if you are there's other options, but as an agent, you're a business. Businesses grow by doing what, Nate? How do businesses grow?
Advertising.
They scale by how?
Yep. Advertising.
So we're going to create ads. And we want intent-based ads, not interest-based ads. What do I mean by that? We want people that are looking for new construction, not people that are just interested in new construction. There's a difference. So we're not going to run Facebook ads to get buyers. Let that sink in. We're not running Facebook ads to get buyers. We're going to Google to get buyers, because even with AI and search and all that, where do people go? If you're over 40, the first thing you do is the verb. You Google it. Now, yes, people are starting to use ChatGPT, and that's a whole separate thing that we'll address later, but people are still Googling the new construction. So we're going to set up Google ads. Interest is great. We'll talk about that on the back end. We want intent-based marketing. Now, we're going to leverage the builder's branding that ties to intent. Again, I can't go too deep into it because this is a whole hour conversation, but just stick with me as far as setting the ads up. And we're going to leverage the demand from last week. So remember last week we talked about using tools such as the Google Keyword Planner, Keywords Everywhere, to find the buyer demand for a community. So we're going to take the community where we have a good relationship, the most buyer demand, and we're going to run ads to that. Pretty simple. And then the last step, which most agents, in my experience, having talked literally to thousands of agents, is you have to have a follow-up system in place. You got to follow up. Majority of agents lack there. And I'll even raise my hand. I've lacked there at times. Right now, I'm behind on some things, but I know to do it. And this is exactly what I'm layering in actually when I get out of here today with this interview and stuff. So follow up. So that's it. That's how you track buyers. But I'm sure you guys are wondering okay, can we get some details? And of course. So what we're going to be doing with your ads is you're going to target the demand. So what does that mean? The research you did to find out the buyer demand, you're going to use that. What are buyers searching? You're going to use those phrases, whether it's the name of the builder in the area, the name of the subdivision. We're going to target what buyers are searching and bring them to us. We start off with a $5 a day budget. You don't have to break the bank. $300 a month is all you need to start. Unfortunately, we've had agents that have stayed at $300 a month. Now you might say, wait a minute, you said $5 a day, that's $150. You just said $300. Here's why. We create an in-state campaign, local, and then we create an out-of-state campaign. $150 each. That's just to start. When you do that, ideally you want to scale. Some people stick to that and they get a ridiculous ROI and they're just happy and comfortable at 300. But the goal is to jack that up once you got sales coming through. And when we're talking about doing in-state and out of state, you can also find out where people are relocating from and migrating from. And that is something that you can do using AI. We talked about it last week, so you have to go back and watch the December 31st tune-up replay. We walked through a quick strategy to do that and kind of tell you what to do there. But you can find out where people are migrating from, and then what you do is you target those states. Typically, if we don't know that information, we gather that information by simply targeting 49 states and excluding the state that you're in. So I'm in Atlanta right now, so I'm going to exclude Georgia. I'm going to target all 49 states and run the ads. Same process. And the data will tell you where they're coming in from. Then, okay, you're running ads. Where do you run ads to? Where you never run ads to is the overpriced website that you probably paid for, or the website that your broker or somebody really good salesperson told you to buy that you send your clients to. You never send them to an IDX page. You never send them to your company website unless it's custom. You need to send them to a simple landing page. A landing page has zero distractions. There's nothing but blinders on. You're coming to that page to get information about this thing or skedaddle. That's it. You want this information or skedaddle. That's it. Ideally, a micro commitment page. And a micro commitment page is you have to take multiple steps in order to get the reward, which is I want to find out information about this community. So you want them to click a button, then they got to put their name, email, phone number, and then they got to click another button to get the information, and then they got to wait, and then they're on the landing page. It seems like a lot. It is, but it's how you filter out the nonsense. If you've ever done any lead gen, Zillow leads, Facebook ads, this is how you can filter out probably 75% of the nonsense because people aren't going to go through all that. Then when you're capturing the name, you always capture name, email, phone number. And as far as this process, we are giving away these templates if you're on the waiting list for, actually next week, we're giving away the templates. The micro commitment templates will show you what it looks like, how to use it. We'll give you this resource and tool so that you guys can go do this stuff. So if you're on the waiting list for the accelerator, we're going to give you this information next week. So go to theiconicagent.com/waiting list. Now, this is the waiting list, the free training on the waiting list. During the actual accelerator, if you are chosen to participate and if you qualify, we will give you the entire process. So you don't have to worry about, well, what about this? What about that? We got you. Just a heads up there. Now, something else, people want to get fancy. You have your landing page. Do not put video on your landing page. It's not Facebook. Google and Facebook work differently. Putting video on the page they land on, it turns them off. It does not work. Reason being, and also branding, unless it's critical branding your broker's making you put on there, nobody cares about your branding. I'm looking for the Dylan in Buckhead, Atlanta. I don't care about you, your picture, your logo, nothing. I want information about the Dylan. So that's what we're going to provide to them, what they're asking for. Branding comes on the back end. One last thing that is super important and often overlooked on your form, make sure you have a call to action on your form. What do I mean? You want their name, email, phone number. Don't just put name, email, phone number, and placeholders. Enter your name. Enter your best email, enter your best phone number. Makes a drastic difference. Even enter your name versus enter your full name makes a drastic difference. If you tell somebody what to do, people need to be told what to do. So if you tell somebody what to do, they'll do it. I have a case where we were running some ads, the same process, and I'm looking through, I'm like, why are we just getting the first name? So I went and looked at the form and I couldn't figure it out. And I looked at it, said, enter your first name instead of full name. Well, I was like, oh, they're doing exactly what we told them to do. We put enter your full name. Now we're getting first name, last name. It seems minuscule, but the small details make a difference. And that's another thing. Details matter. We just talked about no branding. You can brand afterwards. And then for you guys that are like, well, I'm running Facebook ads, and we never run Facebook up front, ever. Unless you are a Facebook whiz. If you are new, don't do it. If you're a whiz and you know your avatar and you're leveraging your avatar and you know what they care about and their deepest desires and their deepest pains and deepest worries, then absolutely. If you're an expert in Facebook, and if you're not, don't do this. Google's the easiest if you're just getting started. Now, what we do use is Facebook, which is interest-based. We use Facebook on the back end. So we have super target. You cannot get more targeted Facebook ads or Facebook targeting than this process. They come in through Google. You know they're interested because they hit that page and they're in your pipeline and in your funnel. And on that page they hit that gives them more information about the community, you have your Facebook pixel. You're telling Facebook, hey, this is a conversion. And then you can have them go out there and find more people like that. But you're also, if you've ever hit a site and you follow people around and you get followed around the internet, like, okay, you got some shoes and you're like, okay, I like these shoes. And all of a sudden, anywhere you go, on your cell phone, on your TV, on your phone, on your tablet, them shoes are following you around. That's how we use Facebook and Instagram. Once we know they had interest, now that's where we're going to scoop in and follow them around. And that is another form of follow-up. So it's that easy how you attract new construction buyers. This works at price points from 300,000 up to 3 million. We have sold multi-million-dollar condos. I have a commission coming probably next month from a 2.7 or $2.9 million transaction in Florida from this process. We just had a presentation for a $3 million waterfront condo in Fort Lauderdale from this process. We've also had a $400,000 single family home presentation from this process. So this works across the board. Now, if you are a struggling agent or you're like, well, there's got to be other ways, and options are good. So there's some other ways to attract buyers that you have less control. There's organic ways to attract buyers. You have less control with organic. I know I can put $5,000 in and get $50,000 out. I can put $7,000 in and get $90,000 out. I don't know how many videos I have to create to make this, or if this one video is going to work better, or articles and all that. But that is definitely helpful. So Nate, what are some ways that what are some other ways that we can attract buyers for folks that might be financially strapped, or they just kind of want to, I don't recommend this, dip their toe in the water?
Well, the easier ways sort of work on the trade-off that we talk to a lot of people in the program about this, time or money, right? So if you're running ads, you're spending money. If you don't have the money, now you got to put in some time. And understanding, and we talk about this in the program, understanding your avatar allows you the ability to be able to know where that avatar is and to go to those places. So physically being in the places where those avatars are. We touch on the commission meetings and stuff like that, but spending time in the places where the people you're trying to reach are, having those relationships with the on-site sales staff that can tell you where those people are, to be able to get in front of them if you're cash strapped. So if you're, hey, oh yeah, this, what Damon and Nate are talking about is great, but I ain't got $300 a month. You don't have $300 a month, you probably shouldn't be trying to sell real estate full time. But if you are, then that means you got to compensate for that by spending $300 a month worth of time in places where you can build meaningful relationships with potential buyers. And then that stuff will start to compound for you. You'll see, as you meet people in those places and you're more frequent in those places, you'll meet more people in those places. And the people in those places will tell you about other places, right? Buyers travel in packs. As you build those relationships will open doors to you for other relationships and other locations, et cetera, et cetera. So if you need to offset your financial constraints with other ways to generate buyers, one of the most effective things you can do is to be out and about finding out where those buyers spend time. And obviously, one of the things we talk about in the accelerator is identifying who those buyers are, what they like, where they are, and then you then have a blueprint to go to the places where those buyers are and have those conversations with them in the wild, so to speak.
Have there's video, so take your cell phone. You have video. Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. People say Craigslist, like, what are you talking about? Craigslist still works. Craigslist works like gangbusters if you know how to use it. Your
Absolutely.
current sphere, like Nate just mentioned, your current sphere and pipeline. That's another place. If you have an email list, use it. Once you know what new construction, I'm sitting in here. If I've got buyers in Atlanta, I could just send out an email like, "Hey, come out here to Brooklyn Heights," because they're given X, Y, or Z. So there's a lot of opportunity if you have mailing lists. There's actually a really cool thing if you got a bunch of business cards, and we'll talk about this on the insider, but you got a bunch of business cards, you can use AI to just take those business cards and drop it into a spreadsheet for you. Simple. Um, I mentioned Facebook Marketplace. That's another good place. You have a lot more weeding out of people to do. LinkedIn, blog articles. So Nate, walk through, because I know you're doing heavy on video and LinkedIn. Kind of give some quick tips and strategies what you're actually doing. Because I'm doing some things too, but you're doing more of it on the real estate side. So what are you doing on LinkedIn, and what are you doing with videos that is helping you
Yeah.
generate buyers?
Well, taking long form videos and then creating short consumable videos for multiple platforms. So looking at how do you create stuff that's easy for people, that's valuable, but also offers easy to consume stuff. So YouTube Shorts, short consumable stuff on LinkedIn. One of the things that people very often overlook when it comes to LinkedIn, we all will say, "Oh, I don't have a big list. I don't have a bunch of people on my list. I don't have a big sphere." And then you go on LinkedIn and you got 500 connections, 1,000 connections. Some people have 2, 3, 4,000 connections because you've been on LinkedIn for the last 15 years, 20 years. Well, all of those connections on your LinkedIn are essentially warm sphere connections. Those are, you can treat that like an email list. You can reach out to those people. You can go through those people and sort of rank them and say, okay, well, who, and there's some cool tricks we can show you that for that with AI, but you can rank them based on their likelihood to need something. How some of them are people you've talked to already, some of them people who you haven't talked to. You can systematically go through all of those people, which is stuff that I've done. I've had a couple $100 million in conversations on LinkedIn in the last 30 days just from reaching out to people that I haven't talked to in a couple of years, saying, "Hey, just wanted to touch base. We've been connected on LinkedIn since 2003. How you been?" These are opportunities for you to be able to grow meaningful conversations with people who are already connected to you. Right. A lot of those people that you reach out to on LinkedIn, the first thing they're going to do is click on that connections button to see what connections you guys have in common. And when you have common connections with people, that increases the likelihood that they'll hop on a Zoom with you, have a quick call with you, maybe even meet you for coffee if you're local. LinkedIn can be an incredibly powerful tool for your business if you're approaching it like you would treat, an email list or a warm sphere of influence where you're looking to build meaningful relationships with buyers and on-site agents for that matter. So it can be a really powerful tool. I know it's been great for me putting out those thought leadership pieces, putting out short consumable pieces of content and building those relationships and having those conversations.
He was asking if we found anything for attracting buyers with like AI search or like Google Gemini, and that is actually something we are actively. I stay in the lab working on things, so we're actively running some experiments, doing some things. So we'll report back to y'all. Definitely the accelerator. Accelerator, y'all gonna get the good. But we do have some AI strategies we're leveraging, but not for that. So that's something that we're looking through. Organic, I am very much a paid traffic person. I want to give you the money, and I know I'm gonna get the results quickly. I don't have to wait for however long to figure it out. But we're on that. So, all right. So that's a wrap. I think that covered everything. Nate, is there anything we missed with finding buyers? Anything else we can give them before we hop off?
No, beat the street, man. I can tell you where there's no money on your couch. So get out here, build those relationships, make it happen.
Absolutely. All right, we'll see y'all in the next tune-up next week. And real quick before we go, because this is super important, if you are an agent that seriously wants to dominate new construction this year, if the last 2 years weren't your best, or if they were and you want to make them better, either way, if you want to improve, we have the 6-week new construction buyer trash and accelerator coming up mid-February. We will be holding your hand, walking through the process virtually. We have in-person events too. Those are 3 and 4 days, and those will be coming up. But this is a 6-week, over the shoulder, guide you through the entire process. It's application only. In the meantime, while you're waiting for the applications to open for you to apply, we are going more in depth than what we're going here in these 30-minute segments. So we're going to give you specific action items, resources, tools that you can leverage. So even if you're not accepted or you're not able to do it or you don't have the time or whatever's in the way, you're going to have actionable information that you can start going and taking advantage of this. When the next cohort of the accelerator opens up next quarter, you'll have an opportunity to be first on the acceptance list there. So if you go to the iconicagent.com/waiting list, sign up. Again, this is a virtual 6-week training. We will walk with you, hold your hand through the entire process. It's application only. If you're accepted, then you will get the second best Nate and Damon and Iconic Agent team you can get. The first best is flying into wherever we are for the 3 days and sitting down with us, breaking bread and going through this. Both super valuable. Go to iconicagent.com/waiting list, and we will see you guys next week, same time.